Hail as humanity's strongest soldier, there is no man in Attack on Titan whose skills rival that of Captain Levi. In a very real sense of the word, he is the strongest. And what is the story behind this man? What was he before he became humanity's strongest soldier? Well, let's see. As we saw in episode 10 of the third season, Levi was born to Kenny's sister. Since the Ackerman were a minority group, she sold her body to survive, and one day one of her clients impregnated her. It was sad, downright depressing. When Kenny found them, Levi's mother had already been long dead, and little Levi was sitting in front of her bed. He was malnourished and almost on the verge of death himself. Now, Kenny was definitely not the compassionate type, but considering how he was his sister's son, as well as among the last of their bloodline, he picked him up. He continued to pass, and although Kenny never considered himself a good father figure, Levi did learn plenty under his care. From knife skills to communication to how to survive, he learned the ways of the underground world from his uncle. But then one day, when Levi effortlessly wins a fight, Kenny realizes that the boy has grown up. He no longer needs him to survive, and that is why he left to get some milk in order to celebrate Levi's growth. Now, in the underground world, Levi eventually got acquainted with a group of thugs. This is more or less what we know of Captain Levi's past from the anime, but there is actually a 2-parts long OVA series that tells a story from Levi's younger days, the story of people he treated as his siblings, as well as the story of how he met Erwin Smith. It's all in the OVA series. A choice with no regrets. In the underground district right below Wall Sina, Levi met a guy named Ferlin Church. They became good buddies after Levi single-handedly and effortlessly defeated an entire gang. Levi became a part of Ferlin's gang, and together they committed a great many heists. And at some point, they even stole the ODM gear from the scouts. This helped them to heist more and ultimately make more money. Now, one day after they are done with the heist and Ferlin is distributing their profits among everyone, Levi notices him giving one of them, a guy named Jan, a larger sum. Levi doesn't say anything until after everyone leaves. That's when he asks Ferlin about why he gave Jan more money. He wasn't particularly angry or anything, just curious about why. Is something wrong? To this, Ferlin mentions that Jan's leg is not in the best condition. He needs medicine to continue with the heists, but the cost of the medicine is also increasing. He won't be able to continue, and that's why the extra money was actually more like severance pay. It's sad. Ferlin wonders about how long it'll be before they can also live on the surface. It's interesting to see the contrast here. Aaron wanted to see what's beyond the walls, while Ferlin merely wanted to be out of the gutter. Though, as they are having this conversation, someone slams against their door. Both of them quickly get into position and pull out their knives. They then swing the door open, ready to maul whoever trying this knock-knock joke, but it's just a girl. She jumps inside with her arms to her stomach. Ferlin comments about how it's just a kid, and she angrily replies that she is not a kid. She then slowly gets up and reveals a bird. She has been holding the little bird against her stomach. But before we can talk about Aaron the bird, Levi hears some voices and realizes that the girl is being pursued. When those pursuers appear, Levi and Ferlin face them. They ask our boys if they have seen a dirty little kid. This pisses Ferlin off, so he tells them that they are the only kind around here. This causes them to get aggressive. As they do, they notice the girl sitting against the door. They tell the boys to hand the girl over. She has money to pay, and if they continue trying to protect her, they will be guilty as well. Having said this, one of them places his hand on Levi's shoulder. Big mistake. Within an instant, Levi butchers his hand with his knife and starts punching him in the face. He is angry at the guy for touching him with his filthy hand. That's right, guys, even a teenager, Levi, was still a clean freak. If you touch him with your dirty hands, he'll chop them off. Levi pushes the guy down the stairs, and all of them realize that they messed with the wrong guy. It was time for them to go home. Levi then faces the guy and tells her that if she continues hoarding the bird to her chest, Aaron will die. She replies that she didn't know she was suffocating him. She just thought that she was keeping him warm. Alright, she loosens her arms and makes room for the bird to breathe freely. She then explains that it's a lost bird and she wants to take the bird to the surface because a bird would obviously rather fly in the sky than rot in the underground. Yep, just like Aaron. The boys are alright with this, but since the bird's wings were injured, Ferlin puts on some bandages. After this, the girl reveals her name. It's Isabel. She asks them about how it feels to fly. Truth be told, she's jealous of how they go around like birds in their ODM gear, and wants to know if she can do that too. Well, Levi tells her that she better start learning how to clean before she can use the ODM gear. By the way, fun fact, the one thing Levi liked about Aaron was how he was the best at cleaning. With time, Isabel learns how to clean and then how to use the ODM gear as well. She is a member of the team. They are like a family. This one time, she offers Levi some of her bread, but he says no and starts tussling her already messy hair. That's what you call a good old big brother. Levi, Ferlin, and Isabel's relationship with each other is exactly like that of brothers and sisters. They are a family. Eventually, she properly starts using her ODM gear while everyone cheers her on. And when Aaron's wings heal, they release the bird at an opening in the ground. It flies away, straight to freedom. Then, while they are on their way back home, the old guy appears who wants them to do a job for him. Well, Levi hated authority and was not interested, but then they learned that this guy had already paid for Jan's treatment, and sure enough, Jan is about to be on his way to the surface to get the medical treatment he needs. Alright, Levi agrees to at least hear him out, and they walk to the surface with him. Once out, there is another guy, it's Nicholas, and he reassures them that their new client can be trusted. But Levi's not stupid. He tells them that they have not advanced. The way he sees it, one of their comrades has been taken hostage. But then the client reveals that if they can get the job done, all of them will be able to live on the surface. He can make it happen. For the time being, they don't make the decision, but it's definitely tempting, especially when Ferlin confirms that their friend Jan is indeed getting proper treatment. He also confirms that their client is a big shot. Ferlin then asks Levi if they are doing this or not. Levi replies that the client told him how even if they don't accept the job, they won't remain unrelated to the matter. The targets will definitely appear in the underground, and well, that's when Levi and the rest take them out. But until then, they continue their normal business as usual. Now, while they are on another heist, they start getting pursued. It's the military police, and if the police wasn't enough, Levi notices that there is another group after them. These guys are wearing green cloaks. It's the scouts, and for what it's worth, their target is among them. That's it. It was time to do what they are getting paid to do. The three of them split up, and as Levi does his thing, he is confronted by Mishe. Remember, guys, he's humanity's second strongest soldier. The guy who got mauled and done dirty by the Beast Titan. What a fraud! That's why Mikasa will always be the true second strongest. Anyways, Levi manages to knock one of Misha's blades, but before he can continue with his attacks, Erwin stops. Now Levi is going to dust him, but Erwin tells him to stop and look around. Both Isabel and Ferlin have been captured. Seeing this, Levi immediately surrenders. Erwin notes that Levi has a good intuition. He was able to get a read on the situation right away. Okay, so what happens next? Now that they have been captured, well, they are shackled and have to sit on their knees in front of Erwin. Erwin starts questioning. He asks them about the ODM gear. Who gave it to them? But they don't say a thing. When he asks Levi about whether he was trained in the military, he once again refuses to answer. This causes Misha, the fraud, to get impatient. He grabs Levi's head and slams it into a puddle. When Erwin asks again about the ODM gear and how they learned to use it, Ferlin explains that they stole it and they are all self-taught. Of course, Erwin doesn't believe them. It's like, can a child learn to pilot a helicopter by themselves? Of course not. So they continue replying to Erwin and explain that for them, who were living here below the surface, they were simply surviving by any means necessary to change their situation. But then again, it's as they say, Erwin, who lives on the surface, would not understand them. Still, Levi's skills were undeniable, which is why Erwin offers him a deal. If he joins the scout regiment, they will not be charged with any crime. Levi, being Levi, asks him what would happen if he refused the offer. Erwin states that in that case, he'd have no choice but to hand them over to the military police. And that's not a good outcome, is it? Levi puts two and two together and agrees to accept the offer. But was it official? After all, it was just Erwin doing whatever he pleases. Well, the other leaders of the scout regiment definitely argue against it. They also want Erwin to dial down going after the Titans, but Commander Keith, the GOAT, gives them a green light. He warmly accepts not just Levi, but also his brother Ferlin and his sister Isabel. All three of them are assigned to Flagon Squad, which is a bit awkward because he is one of the people who opposed Erwin on this. Later, Isabel doesn't like it when she is being sent to the women's dormitory. He won't be together with Ferlin and Levi after all. As for Levi, he was ready to fight his Flagon because his room was below his standard for cleanliness. Luckily, Ferlin was there to stop him from hitting his leader. Though what now? What about the job from that old man? Turns out, they knew that the scouts were onto them, and the reason Levi accepted the deal is to get closer to the military. Yes, this is all a facade. Coincidentally, a budget is approved for an expedition. This is a bit sus, and this is where we learn the 4D chess Erwin has been playing. He knows Levi is after him. He knows that the ones who approved the budget did it, so because of the green light they received from the guys trying to kill him. The same guys who paid Levi and the others, by the way. Why does the client want Erwin dead though? It's because Erwin has some dirt on him. Keith warns him that this is dangerous, but Erwin knows that the scouts must continue. They must keep moving forward. We see him cross paths with Levi, and Levi tells himself that the one who kills Irvin will be him. I guess he's salty about how horribly they treated him during the questioning. Later, when Flagon sees them training with their ODM gear, he is surprised. Impressed, in fact. Although he's not sure about the way Levi holds his blades. Hanji finds it amusing, though, and she wants to know where Levi picked up that style. Moving on, Ferlin invades Levi's office. He's going to get rid of the evidence Irvin has on the secret dealings of the client, but then Irvin arrives and he has no choice but to bail. They conclude that Levi must be carrying those documents with him, and so they'll just steal them after they kill him. Simple. But Levi comments that they should leave this entire thing to him. They should not join this expedition. It's too dangerous. But then again, they'd rather fight the Titans on the surface than go back to the underground. I'm sure Eren will be proud. Levi was still not sure, but when Ferlin asks him to believe in them, he smiles and agrees to believe in them. The following day, it's time for the expedition. It's the 23rd exterior scouting mission. Ferlin and Isabel are impressed by the vast sky and lands outside the walls. But it gets clear that they are not here for a picnic when 3 Titans appear. Flagon kills one of them while Levi kills the second one. As for the third one, it grabs Isabel, but she succeeds in freeing herself. And then good old Ferlin kills Titan. Flagon is pleased by their performance. He does criticize them for being too much gas though, but Levi asks if they should really prioritize the gas over their lives. There's also Irvin. He asks Levi if he has started having some doubts. This leaves Levi stunned. What exactly is the guy talking about? After all, in Levi's mind, Irvin doesn't know a thing about how he's planning on killing him. The expedition continues, but soon it starts raining heavily, which was enough to cloud everyone's vision. This is where Irvin tells everyone to slow down and find somewhere for refuge, while Levi realizes that this is his opportunity to kill Irvin and steal the documents. He tells Ferlin and Isabel that he should go alone. The 3 of them would raise suspicion. They agree and wish him good luck. Levi feels strange, but how could he have known that this will be the last time he'll save them still alive? As he is on his way to kill Irvin, he suddenly starts remembering Irvin's words about having doubts. He also notices a number of dead soldiers and a maniac Titan. Not good. Levi is overwhelmed with a bad feeling. He turns around and rushes back to Isabel and Ferlin at full speed. He's going so fast that Levi, of all people, falls from his horse. But when he falls, he sees Isabel's severed head right in front of him. The abnormal Titan is also there, and he is biting the second half of Ferlin's body. At first, Levi finds himself paralyzed. The shock is simply too much. But then something inside of him breaks. He goes mad with rage as he plunges forward and starts slicing the abnormal Titan from every direction possible. He quite literally beheads a Titan. It's straight up slaughter. Guys, if you look at the Attack on Titan story as a whole and point to one instance where this man truly broke, then this is it. Ferlin and Isabel were like a brother and sister to him. It had barely been much time since they started living on the surface. They wanted him to believe in them, and this is how they are treated? This is how they die? It did not make sense. When Irvin appears, he finds Levi next to be sliced up. Beheaded Titan. He's crying. Irvin tells him how pathetic it is that he is the only one who survived. This causes Levi to flip and he is almost going to kill him, but then Irvin reveals that he knew. He knew their plan. Even those documents he is carrying are fake. He had already sent the real ones to Zachary. Levi asks why. Why did he let them join the scouts when he knew all of that? Why? He's angry. However, Irvin simply tells him to not regret the decisions he has made. There's nobody who knows any outcome. The decision has already been made, and therefore he should not let any regrets dull his future decisions. This was not a bunch of philosophical gibberish. It was actually to have Levi see the situation for what it is, and to keep Levi from killing him. He also tells Levi that he'd like him to continue coming with the scouts on future expeditions. In the aftermath of the scene, we also see Flagon's corpse on the ground. It was truly tragic. As for Levi, he goes on to become a part of the scout, and that, my friend, is the beginning of humanity's greatest soldier, Captain Levi. And with that said, this was our recap of Levi's past. I'm sure you have a lot to say about this. Go wild in the comments section. And if you want me to recap the hidden past of any other character, feel free to leave any suggestions. Remember to like and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you in my next video.